Thank you for watching. I'm the plumbing professor. I want to talk to you about the license prep classes. There's a 4-session and an 8-session set. Basically, this fills the gap between on-the-job training and also basically codes and verbiage and vocabulary and things of that nature. Just give you one quick example that one of the reasons why the school is set up, because I would send guys to go pick up orders or order supplies. And it would waste time and money because A, the guys didn't know exactly what the term was for the part, or B, they didn't even know what they were picking up. So they would go and get it, and if we really needed like a large ball valve or a 4-inch street 45, and you needed it, and they went and picked it up, and then they came back and it was wrong, the whole job stopped. Throws off the labor cost, throws off the timeline on the job, just from that one simple aspect. And I said, well, these guys need classes beyond just the on-the-job, what they're learning. So we'll jump right into the outline. Basically, it goes from basic plumbing to advanced, the New York State Plumbing Code, and also the local authorities. It would be Erie County Sewer and whatever municipality that you're doing the job in. Class 1, very straightforward outline. It's the intro into plumbing. I figure out what my students are looking for, what skill level they're at, and what their learning style, so I can speak to them on their level and their terms and bring them forward. Then I set up each student's plan to learn the material. I review the process with them. I talk about time management. I talk about how to study and how to review the information, how to retain the information, and then the methods they need to apply to that. Then we jump right into intro into vocabulary, terms, tools, codes, and industry speak. There's definitely different languages of things. Some people never even heard of a hose bib. It's just where you connect your hose outside. But when you talk about industry speak, it's just one of those things. Water closet is another funny term. People say toilet. Well, the toilet's actually the fixture. The water closet is actually what it is. So just a little minute thing, but when you're doing a job and you're reading blueprints or you're looking for things, you need to know the difference, and that's the difference between being licensed and unlicensed. Next is learning the basics parts of a house, from the P-trap to the setup to the strainer, down to basic vents, residential drain pipe, also any requirements that you definitely need 100% in a residential house plumbing. Then enter into the public utilities and how they connect to the residential side, sanitary, and the storm sewer. That is class number 1. Class number 2, we start with a review of class number 1 on the materials, and then basic installation. So when they become on the service side, not only do they need to know, like, oh, I could just swap it out R&R, which was remove and replace, but they also need to know why or how to correctly install it. So I talk about correctly install toilets, drains, sinks, sump pumps, hot water tanks, faucet, residential house plumbing and fixtures, and making sure they all understand the minute things. For example, making sure you have a drip leg on the gas on a hot water tank. It's very important for them to start learning, even though they're probably not licensed to handle that job. But if they're on the job or if they're doing a service, hey, relight the tank, and they see that it's not set up to code, they can inform somebody, the foreman or their boss, and then that brings them up so they kind of see, hey, listen, I could just look at it now and say, okay, I need to do it correctly. I need to make sure it's installed correctly. Even if they're part of the team and the licensed plumber's not, overlook something, they can point out, say, hey, listen, doesn't this need a drip leg? Bam. Maybe he just overlooked it. It happens. You get busy during the day. So then we're going to go in depth, more vocabulary, New York State Plumbing Code and tables. There's a lot of tables that sometimes are on the exams and sometimes not, but a lot of the tables bring the information, proper pipe size to use, the proper material that the pipe is made out of, things of that nature. We're going to review and expand requirements of all the basic house plumbing, vents, venting, plumbing supplies and how to order them, which I spoke about before correctly, building traps, how to investigate the building traps, why certain things when you look down in there, if the water's high or the water's low, where is it plugged, where it's not plugged. And then we're going to teach sewer and drain cleaning methods, tricks of how to reduce backups, how to reduce warranty calls and callbacks. That's a huge thing to be a valuable plumber in a company, especially a small business, to not have many warranty calls. So there's some things that you need to learn about the machines and how to use them, and make sure you clean the whole sewer, not just half in it. Make sure you clean it, not just open it. So there's little tricks and stuff that'll be in class number 2. And then we're going to put into place all the study methods that we talked about. Number 1, develop a system for each person, and then cater it to their learning style. Class 3. Class 3 will be a practice test on class 2 in one material, and it's also going to be the first practice license exam test. So it's going to be not a full test, it will be timed. We're just going to start prepping and see where they're at. Then we're going to talk about steps and speed of studying, how to prep for the exam, and setting time limits where you're not overwhelming yourself. Then we're going to talk about life part of the job. Career versus job, professional versus employee, pro versus con in the plumbing industry, and then licensed versus unlicensed. And we're really going to talk about guys where they need to start working towards each one of them becoming a licensed journeyman plumber, a licensed sewerman plumber, a repairman, licensed plumber, and so forth. Then we're going to finish the vocabulary, the New York State plumbing codes, and we're going to finish the tables. We're going to review all the items. We're going to go in depth on gas line and some of the codes dealing with potable water, and then also review the sewer and drain code. And then what I'm going to speak about is plan for basically process of elimination guessing. I talked to guys today that took the test, and they said the Philadelphia stick is still on the test. Well, the Philadelphia, my grandfather used that. Now it's either a Tremble or more computerized leveling device, but no one calls it Philadelphia stick. But just telling them that, like, hey, listen, process of elimination, test strategy, and how to apply it to test taking. Then we're going to talk about on-the-job hazards and how to protect yourself, and making sure you're 100% wearing PPE and safety gear at all times. And also how to create problem-solving methods if you do come across that situation. We're going to talk about residential storm sewers, bubbler lines, how to maintenance them, conductors, gutters, downspouts, things of that nature to all connect to the plumbing system. Class number 4 is going to be basically a practice exam for your license. It's going to be a timed. It's also going to be test taking strategy, understanding clues, hints, verbiages, words, meanings. So we're going to go review the test and see where people are getting caught up and if they were missing the question or misunderstanding the question. We're going to talk about a licensed plumber's responsibility, value, and reputation, and how to increase that, protect it, and build it. We're going to review and expand any questions on the tables, the plumbing code, and the exam questions. Finally, we're going to do a timed, strictly licensed journeyman practice test. And then we're going to do a full course review, questions, concerns, any test or strategies they want to repeat and go over. And then I'm going to hand them out an exit questionnaire, comments, and suggestions. This will be the 4-class section for the license prep course. Now, there's 4 more sessions that would be more advanced. And these were for you guys that want to step a little farther into the journeyman class or a little farther up into the plumbing world career. Also, the other thing is that this also applies to people that are in small businesses and they're not getting the classroom training that they need on the job, but they want to further their career or help their business. So some of these are going to be pretty much advanced techniques. We'll review all the materials from 1 through 4. Then what we'll do is we'll talk about estimating projects and development and budgeting. We're talking about supervising training of staff and helpers. We're talking about PPE gear again for staff and helpers. We're talking about safety hazards and making sure everybody's safe on the job. We're talking about understanding the schedule, software options, and calendars. We're talking about how to become a great advertiser for your company, what steps to take from the phone rings to closing the jobs to finding large property managers, and all the plumbing business in between. We're going to teach how to build value, not just revenue, and then we're going to talk about personal value and company value. Then how to balance your social media with your personal and business. If you are representing the business and you're driving a truck with the name on the side, the rolling billboard, as they say, you need to have a good social media page and not have any, if you do have some funny stuff or some questionable things, then you need to make sure that you separate that 100% from your business page and your personal page. Then we're going to teach about networking, continuous education, how to keep up to date with new technology in the plumbing world. That's class 5. Class 6 is going to review the class 5 material, and then we're going to talk about commercial service work, how handle commercial service work, how the building is set up, how mostly all different types of building setups. We're going to deal with property managers and way to communicate them to make them be a repeat customer, make sure they're happy and comfortable and that they're on the same page with you on every job. We're going to talk about grease line, grease traps, oil separators. Then we're going to get into hydrojetting. This is going to be talking about hydrojetting of sanitary lines, hydrojetting of grease lines, storm sewers, drain tile, bubbler lines, things of that nature, large parking lot drain systems. We're going to get into more about the storm sewer systems all the way to the connects to the public utility, how to maintenance them. We're also going to talk about sewer camera work and how to complete reports, make sure the DVD and the files are narrated and labeled correctly so that you could either update them, upload them, or provide them to the customer in a proper, timely manner, and they'll be organized. Also, we're going to talk about advanced plumbing codes and regulations. What these are basically between journeyman and master plumber. Things that I think that the students should know, even though they're not a journeyman yet, or they are a journeyman, that they should know. These should be some of the codes that are very, very important. Then we're going to talk about commercial property inspections and advanced residential inspections. These are going to be for guys that are starting to learn, more of the project management side, and that's class 6 outline. Class 7 is a practice test, class 6 material, excavation work and repairs and all different types of materials, PPE gear, safety tips, and how to do joints, manual, solvent, all different types of joints, underground, things of that nature. Then we're going to talk about running the back office system of a plumbing company, how to track invoices, jobs, and estimates, how basically the journeyman plumber or the foreman or whatever it is can help the office staff and make that more seamless and more of a cohesive company, and understand what the girls are looking for, what the requirement, and save time so that the office staff isn't overwhelmed by searching for files and paperwork all the time, and that way the company runs smoother, it saves on labor costs, and it also keeps the company a lot more organized. Talk about math and physics of the plumbing. We're going to get right into a lot of advanced calculations and things of that nature. Then we're going to talk about large commercial buildings, plumbing systems, from a high-rise to multiple unit mall or strip plaza or office complex. We're going to talk about drainage fixture units, the DFUs of plumbing, and the branch intervals. This is a lot in chapter 7 and 10 of the code book. We're going to talk about new codes, adoptions, local, town, village, and city codes. A lot of them have gray areas. We're going to speak on those gray areas and make sure people understand. And then we're going to talk about how building codes mesh with the plumbing code and how health codes mesh with the building and plumbing code. And we're going to learn how to deal with the inspectors and inspections. That is class 7. Class 8. We're going to practice all the materials, practice tests from 1 to 7. We're going to question and answer segment, individual time to help that person, any persons in the class, students that need one-on-one attention. We're going to review all the materials. We're going to do a final timed journeyman license test, and then the exit questionnaire, comments, and suggestions. And that is the plumbing professor, plumbing license prep classes. Basic class is 1 through 4. The advanced session is 1 through 8. Thank you.